Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Sunbreak, and today I'm going to be bringing you my Charge Blade mixed sets. There's going to be 5 elemental sets, one for each of the elements, and one raw set at the end in case you want to use impact files. Now, if you guys were around when I was streaming and farming for the components for these sets, you guys might remember that my initial draft included dereliction for some of the elements. In the end, I ended up opting against it, and the reason for that is twofold. Number one, I feel like a big majority of the player base is actually going to struggle to use dereliction and end up losing damage on account of the fact that they're a little bit too busy managing their health pool as opposed to focusing on dealing damage to the monster. And by the way, I include myself in that majority of players because when I was testing out dereliction, one of the things that I noticed is like I'm spending more time worrying about my health and eating this stupid fish than worrying about actually dealing damage. And if I wasn't doing that, I would have landed more attacks and actually done more damage overall throughout the hunt. So I think dereliction is a very interesting skill, but it is not one that works for me all that much. And on top of it, there is another reason, and that is when you are using dereliction, you usually want to stay, particularly in an elemental build, you usually want to stay in the red scroll, because that is the scroll that is going to give you the elemental damage bonus of dereliction. And dereliction builds out its damage over time. So, you know, it has a bit of a build up until eventually you get the 3 Curio surrounding you, and then that is when you get the maximum effect of dereliction. And if you swap scrolls, it is going to reset down to 1 Curio, which is going to, you know, take you back to lower damage. Not only that, but then you swap the blue scroll, which is more about physical damage and stunning, which on an elemental charge blade is not particularly good. And as you guys know, if you watched my guide, you'll know that I like playing with 1 scroll dedicated for SAED and another scroll dedicated for a condensed spinning slash. And I like having the versatility to swap between those two. And that is a playstyle that dereliction actually punishes a little bit. So I decided against using dereliction for my elemental charge blades. If you guys want to do it, go right ahead. But I was just like, this ain't for me. Anyway, I already spoke way too much about dereliction, so let's get into the actual builds themselves, shall we? And we're going to be starting things off with the Thunder Elemental build. And you guys might wonder, okay, so what am I looking for when it comes to a charge blade for this particular build? And the thing is, you want high elemental damage and an element file. The higher the elemental damage, the better, because, you know, I'm on my builds, I'm focusing on the file damage. So elemental damage is the most important part of the equation. And for that, it doesn't get much better than Narwa's Charge Blade, the Asylum Peel. You guys will be like, oh, you mean to tell me I'm going to have to go farm Narwa? But don't worry about it, because those parts are not going to go to waste. Because if you then look at, you know, we're going to be looking at the slots in the armor set here, you'll notice that we have 2 Narwa pieces that you're going to have to craft as well. So, you know, don't worry, your grinding in order to be able to craft this charge blade is also going to be necessary in order for you to be able to craft the rest of the set. So get ready to farm yourself some Narwa, a little bit of Ibushi. It is what it is, team. So, anyways, on the set here, we have Narwa's helm, we have Ibushi's chest piece, we have Narwa's gloves, we have the Archfiend belt, Ibushi's pure foot, and in that Divine Talisman, you're going to be looking at a Vedic Extender level 2 and a tier 3 and a tier 2 slot. Okay? So, let's actually look at the different slots now. On the Asylum Peel, it doesn't have any slots apart from its Rampage slot. And on there, we're going to be putting an anti-dragon jewel. You're obviously going to want to mix and match this depending on which monster you're fighting. And as always, remember that most Elder Dragons are affected by anti-aerial. So, you know, with the exception of the final boss, of course, because he doesn't actually fly. Then on Narwa's helm, we have the Tenderizer. On Ibushi's pure breastplate, we have a magazine jewel. On Narwa's pure pauldrons, we have another magazine jewel. On the Archfiend armor Ura, I put a hard grinder deco, but this is kind of like, you know, you can choose whatever you want to put on this one. The reason I put the hard grinder is because we don't really have any slots to put sharpness management. So this way, if you run out of sharpness, you can very quickly get it back. That's the intention there. If you're fighting a monster that is potentially, you know, causing you to get stunned or something like that, you can put a hard steadfast in there. You can fill out your guard if you want with an Iron Wall Jewel 3. There's a lot of options for this particular slot. I went with a hard grinder. You might want to take something else. Then on Ibushi's Pure Foot, we have a Quick Switch Jewel 2, and on the Divine Talisman, we have all of the bolt damage, all of the thunder damage that you'll need to max out that skill. We then look at the finalized build. You got Thunder Attack level 5, Storm Soul level 4. And you guys might be wondering, what is Storm Soul doing? On level 3, Storm Soul increases your dragon and thunder damage by 15%. So you're getting full thunder attack, and then on top of it, you're increasing your thunder damage by 15% as well. The 4th point increases 1 additional skill to every single armor piece that you have equipped. Not the gems, just the skills on the armor, which is why we're able to get stuff like Chain Crit 3, as you'll see up ahead. Then we have Weakness Exploit 3, we have Guard 3, Speed Sharpening 3, Rapid Morph 3, Wind Alignment 3, Thunder Alignment 3, Chain Crit 3, Guard Up 2, Offensive Guard 2. Here's another thing you can do. You can max out Offensive Guard if you want to replace that Tier 4 decoration slot that we were talking about. You got Slugger 2, that's just a bonus, comes with armor pieces. You're not really going to be stunning monsters with this build, I don't think. Unless, you know, your Palicos unless you shock the monster or something. Then you also have Load Shells 2, Evade Extender 2, Part Breaker 2, Flinch Free 2, and Spearbird's Call. This comes with my charm, so you might not have that particular skill. That is the build, and I know that on the background you guys have watched me play the dragon version of the build. That is because those two builds are nearly identical, so I'm going to be using the same footage. The same is going to be true for the next set of elements after dragon. I'm going to be using like the fire footage because the sets are pretty much the same, okay? So, continuing onwards, let's move over to the dragon elemental charge blade. And for that one, we're going to be using the Crimson Mech Wing. This is obviously Volstrax's Charge Blade. It's got the highest dragon damage and an element file, so that's pretty much a no-brainer. Then looking at the actual set that we're going to be using, everything is pretty much the same. And when it comes to the slots, on the weapon itself, I'm using a Breath Jewel. This is very much a free slot. You can use whatever else you want in here. It's not really a big deal, so take your pick of skills and use that. But Breath Jewel just allows you to cleanse stuff pretty much for free, so I don't really see a big downside in that. You can either couple this together with Easy Breezy, and that will also heal you along the way. But, you know, like I said, this particular slot is personal preference. On the Rampage slot, Anti-Dragon, same spiel as the other Charge Blade, just, you know, pick whatever it is that you feel like picking against the thing that you're fighting. And then on the Narwa Helm, Tenderizer, magazine on the chest, magazine on the gloves. We have a hard steadfast this time as opposed to the hard grinder. Like I said, this is a free slot, so you can put in whenever you want. But you guys might be wondering why the steadfast here and the grinder on the other one. It's because of the sharpness properties of the Volstrax Charge Blade. It's got so much white sharpness that I don't really think that you're going to be running out of sharpness midway through the fight. And if you are, sure, go ahead, put in grinder on here if you want to, but this way you also have stun resist. That was my option, but like I said, you can put in whatever you want. Power Prolonger, take your pick. Choose whatever you want, put whatever you want. On the foot, we have the Quick Switch, and once again on the Talisman, we are putting all of the dragon damage straight in. And that is the dragon build for the Charge Blade. Coming up on the ice, we have the Flicker Blizzard Whale. This is Aurora Somnicant's Charge Blade. It's got 71 ice element with an elemental file. Again, it's just like the higher the element with an elemental file, that's the one that you want to take. And then looking at the set here, we have the Astalos Helm, Archfiend Armor Baulo, Kushala Grip X, Basel Goose Coil X, Squire's Greaves, and a Polar Knight Talisman. This talisman is going to be rough for you guys, but I'm going to tell you guys which skills you can change around in order to get a build that performs extremely similar to this one, okay? The only advantage that I will have is, like, my build's going to have Critical Boost 3, yours might not. You guys are like, well, that's a big deal. And it's like, it is for the melee hits, but at the end of the day, you're looking to increase your file damage, which Critical Boost does not play a role in that at all, so it's not really a big deal. So, continuing onwards, if we actually look at the slots on the actual Charge Blade, we have 2 Frost Jewels. On the Astalos Helm, we have a Jumping Jewel 4, a Shield Jewel 2, and a Frost Jewel 1. On the armor, we have 2 critical decos, and keep this in mind because once I show you the talisman, you might want to change these around. On the Kushala grip, we have a Frost Jewel 1. On the Basil Goose Coil, we have 2 Tenderizer Jewels. On the Squire Greaves, we have an Iron Wall Jewel +3 and a Frost Jewel +1. And this talisman is, it's pretty good. It's not the best, but it's pretty damn good. It's got Rapid Morph 3 and Chain Crit 1. So this is going to bring us some chain crit as well as full rapid morph, which is why I was telling you guys, if you are having problems, doing a build exactly like this, then get whatever charm you can get with 2 skills and 2 slots, right? And then just make sure that you get the rapid morph and ignore the critical decos that we have on the chest and just slot in some more rapid morph. Rapid morph is more important than your critical boost, okay? But looking at the finalized build here, we have Ice Attack level 5, critical boost level 3, weakness exploit level 3, razor sharp level 3. So this one actually comes with sharpness management, which again is, I like having sharpness management. This means that I can spend more time just beating the crap out of monsters and not having to worry about is my weapon dull or not. We have guard level 3, stun resistance level 3. This is because the Astalos mail gives us so much stun resistance that we just end up getting it. Rapid morph 3, chain crit 3, agitator 2, load shells 2, evade extender 2, Kushala blessing 2, and this is the important one because this increases your ice attack as well as water attack by 10%. That's why this particular skill is very important to have, and that's why we have the Kushala gloves. We have 1 point of resentment and guard up. The guard ups are actually important. There's a lot of attacks that are unblockable, and I want to be able to just, at any point in time, I might want to pull off a guard point, or I want to pull off a counter peak performance. I don't know if counter peak performance has built-in guard up now that I think about it, but I don't think it does. So anyway, that is the build when it comes to ice. Let's swap things around and take a look at water. And when it comes to this one, you get the nightmare fuel that is the Armor Dread. And you'll forgive me if I don't actually show this one on stream. Who knows if YouTube will straight up not demonetize a damn video because it's a dead fish. It's a dead fish, okay? And it opens up. And you make it spin to hit enemy. It's weird, okay? Like, look, this is a very weird charge blade, and I don't particularly like it. I always felt that the water charge blade was kind of trash back in Rise, which the only real viable option was like Juratotus, and it sucked. It was actually the reason why I just decided to quit Elemental Charge Blade back in Rise was the Charge Blade selection. But anyways, it's got 57 water element, it's got an element file, and it's got some decent slots, so it's got some stuff that you can work with, right? Then looking at the set itself, it's pretty much the same set. Aslo, Sal, Marchfin Armor, Balo, Kushala Grips, Basil Goose, Squire Greaves, and the same talisman that I'm using. Same things apply, so it's like ignore the crit if you want to, if you can't get the rapid morph, get the rapid morph instead. Looking at the slots on the weapon, you have the Hard Stream Jewel 3 as well as another Stream Jewel 1. On the Astalos helm, you're looking at Jumping Jewel 4, Shield Jewel, Stream Jewel, Archfiend 2 crits, Kushala Grip X 1 grinder, Basil Goose 2 tenderizers, Squire's Greaves 1 iron wall and a grinder, and on the Polar Knight talisman, you get the Steadfast. On the final build, you're going to be looking at Water Attack level 5, Critical Boost level 3, Weakness Exploit level 3, Razor Sharp level 3, Guard level 3, Stun Resistance level 3, Rapid Morph level 3, Chain Crit level 3. Remember, you might not be able to reach the Chain Crit level 3 because you might not have that on the talisman like I do. Agitator level 2, Load Shells level 2, Evade Extender level 2, Speed Sharpening level 2. You can swap those Speed Sharpenings for something else if you want to. Kushala Blessing 2, Resentment, and Guard Up. And finally, looking at the fire one, which is the one that you guys have been watching in the background footage, we have the Crawling Crusher. This is Raknakadaki's Charge Blade. Raknakadaki's weapons were excellent in Rise. The gun lance is not as good when it comes to Sunbreak, but Pyre Raknakadaki's gun lance is like the best gun lance in the game, so it doesn't really matter. His relative got the best gun lance, but anyway, let's not devolve this into gunland stuff, right? So it's got decent damage. It's got the best fire damage that you can get, as well as an element file, and it even comes with 30% affinity, which is really, really good because you get to take more advantage of those critical boosts that I've been using. The charm is going to be the same one, so again, Rapid Morph takes priority over critical if you need to sacrifice some of the skills on the set because your charm is not as good as mine. And then we have you know, on the set itself, it's going to be a little bit different because this time around we're going to be needing to use Kaiser pieces on account of the fact that we need Teostra's Blessing instead of Kushala's Blessing, because Teostra's Blessing also increases the fire damage by 10%. So you're looking at an Aslos Helm, Archfiend Armor Balu, Kaiser Van Braces, Basel Goose Coil, Kaiser Greaves. Okay, and then again, that same talisman with the Rapid Morph 3 and all of that jazz. Looking at the slots on the weapon, you got Critical Jewel 2, 2 Grinders, and an Anti-Dragon, which you're going to swap based on whatever it is that you happen to be fighting. Then on the Astalos Helm, you have Jumping Jewel 4, a Shield Jewel 2, and a Steadfast Jewel 1, because you're also going to be stun immune, because why not? We get 2, we might as well become immune. Iron Wall level 3 and Razor Jewel level 2 on the chest. On the Van Brace, you're going to put the Hard Blaze. On Basel Goose Coil X, you're going to put Razor and Tenderizer. On the Kaiser Greaves, you're going to put a Tenderizer and a Blaze. And on my Talisman, I put the final Blaze to get the max fire damage. When you look at the final build, you're going to be looking at Fire Attack level 5, Critical Boost level 3, Weakness Exploit level 3, Razor Sharp level 3, Guard level 3, Stun Resistance level 3, Rapid Morph level 3, Chain Crit level 3. Again, you might not be able to reach that one because of my charm. I'm sorry, I keep bringing it up. It's just some people will skip through the video and then they're like, oh, I can't reach Chain Crit 3. Anyway, Low Shells 2, Evade Extender 2, Speed Sharpening 2. Again, you can swap that for whatever you want, really. Teostra Blessing 2, Resentment 1, Critical Eye 1, Master's Touch 1, and Guard Up 1. That is our fire build. Now, for all of these, I actually haven't talked about the switch skills yet. But for all of these sets, I'm using the same switch skills, which is, I think these are the same ones that I used on the guide. But for those of you that didn't watch that and you're curious, on the red swap scroll, we have Counter Morph / Condensed Element / File Follow-Up Firing Pin, Counter Peak Performance, and Air Dash. Do remember, if you are playing in a multiplayer, you might consider replacing Counter Peak Performance for Axe Hopper, because the monster's not going to be targeting you as much, therefore your chances of using Counter Peak Performance are going to be less. On the blue swap scroll, we have Morph / Condensed Spinning / File Follow-Up Firing Pin, Ready Stance, and Air Dash. This is pretty much, I explained all of these choices in the guide. Don't make me do it again. But now let's actually take a quick look at the raw Charge Blade build. Now, I think you can get more damage out of this, but I also wanted to use this specific weapon just because I like this weapon. And that is the Grand Gourd Lock. And it's like, in a way, this is almost my revenge because I have to bring some more Gunlands conversation to this. I have to. It's like, in a way, this is almost my revenge because I wanted to use Garen Golm's Gunlance because I thought it looked real cool. But it sucked. It sucked. It's one of the worst Gunlances in the game, which made me very, very sad. So when I got the Charge Blade, I was like, oh, this guy's got good raw. It's not the best you can get, but it's pretty good. I'll use that. There, that was my revenge. Anyway, that's why I'm using this one. What you want out of these ones, if you're trying to maximize file damage, is you just want high raw. As high raw as you can possibly get, and your impact files, right? Looking at the actual set itself, you're looking at Utsuchi's True Mask. I think that Age stands for Hidden. Then you have Archfiend Armor Balu, Basel Goose Bracers X, Basel Goose Coil, and Basel Goose Greaves. And then the Divine Talisman is going to be the Evade Extender Talisman that I tend to use with 2 Evade Extenders, a Tier 3 slot, and a Tier 2 slot, okay? Looking at the actual decorations themselves, on the weapon we put an Attack Jewel, an Artillery Jewel, and a Brace Jewel. And then on the Rampage slot, we have an Anti-Dragon Jewel, but, you know, you can swap some of this stuff around if you want maybe a little bit more of a crit-influenced build, which is not what I'm going for. I'm going for maximum impact damage. But if you want a more crit-influenced build, you might put the Kushala on the Rampage slot instead. If you want, you know, this is really going to be up to you. On the True Mask, we're going to put a Grinder Jewel. On the Archfiend Armor Balu, we have Quick Switch and Tenderizer. On the Basel Bracers, Tenderizer and Attack. On the Basel Coil, 2 attacks. On the Basel Greaves, a Quick Switch. And on the Divine Talisman, another Quick Switch and another attack. Looking at the finalized build, we have maximum attack boost. We have level 3 Agitator. We have Weakness Exploit level 3. Razor Sharp level 3, Guard level 3, Artillery level 3, Rapid Morph level 3, the spare shot doesn't matter. Load Shells level 2, Evade Extender level 2, 1 point of Resentment, Guard Up, Speed Sharpening, Again, maybe you want to replace that speed sharpening for something else, particularly if you're playing multiplayer. Just grab like, you know, brace or something. Actually, no, we already have brace. Never mind. Grab something else. Then we have 1 point of Wirebug Whisper and a Spearbird's Call at the end, as well as 1 point of Chain Crit. We even got 1 point of Chain Crit. That one comes pretty much for free from the chest piece, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, and in terms of like in terms of the switch skills, I use the exact same ones. These are my builds. I believe that there's a little bit of room for improvement when it comes to the to this last one in particular, because you can get weapons with higher raw and still do the build just fine. The thing is, like I said, I wanted to use Garangolm's weapon, and the raw is just so big that it's really not a huge difference. So yeah, this is what I did with these builds. Hopefully this helps you guys out. If you guys enjoyed this video, if these builds were useful for you, I'm calling them builds, mixed sets. You know, I use that term interchangeably. But if this was useful for you in any way, then feel free to hit the like button. Helps me out a lot. Subscribe, bell notification icon for more Sunbreak videos, all of that jazz. If you guys are wondering about food skills, which I neglected to talk throughout the video as well, it's like if you're doing the raw one, you want to get Bombardier because it affects file explosions. And on the other one, really just eat for whatever you want. If you want more damage, eat for Booster. Other than that, just eat for whatever you want. It's not like you got hard food requirements for elemental charge blades. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong. Stay safe. Peace out.